What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Now in today's video, we're going to go over some big news that actually came out for NIO and a couple reasons as to why they've actually dropped despite this good news coming out. But before we actually jump into it, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, it really does help out the channel and it lets me know that you guys are enjoying these videos every weekday. So again, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it. But with that out of the way, you can see today NIO is down actually around 6%. And this is actually somewhat surprising with the news that came out that we're going to go over in a little while. But you can see pre-market, NIO is actually up between 2 and 3%. And then once the market opened, pretty shortly after, they just dropped. And since then, they've been down between 5 and 6% most of the day. Now looking at the 1 week, NIO is down 5%. And they've actually had a pretty flat week for most of the week, which is kind of uncommon to see in NIO, especially when we look at the last few months. And this is one of the few red weeks we've had with NIO. Because if we take a look at the 1 month chart, you can see NIO is up almost 40% at 38.5% in the green. And while looking at the 1 month chart, this doesn't really look like that big of a pullback. It's been one of the bigger pullbacks we've seen in the last month or two. Now, I'm not saying it's anything to be concerned about because we should see NIO have red days and we should see them pull back. And it's nothing bad to see. If anything, these should be the days where you add more shares to your portfolio, especially if you believe in NIO long term and you think they're going to be worth way more in the future. Because in yesterday's video, I actually asked people what they believe NIO is going to be at in 2025 in terms of their share price. And I had a lot of people saying between $300 and $500. So if you guys are believing that NIO is going to be at that $300 to $500 mark in the next 5 years, I think these red days are the days where you should really add more to your portfolio. Now I'm also going to go over what I think NIO could possibly pull back to in the next couple weeks. But before we look at that, I want to compare NIO to the overall market. Now again, NIO was down 6% on the day, and you can see SPY, which watches the overall market, is up just over 1% at 1.3% today. And during pre-market, SPY opened right around 1%, and since then they've been pretty flat right around that 1% mark. And on the 1 week, SPY is up exactly 1%, and they were pretty flat most of the week until they kind of shot up today. Now, SPY obviously doesn't have these big movements like NIO would, so a 1% gain in a day is pretty big for SPY. But now this is what I actually want to look at. This is looking at NIO more in depth than Robinhood can kind of provide. So if you guys aren't familiar with this trading platform, this is actually Webull, and this is what you guys hear a lot of investors talk about. And if you sign up using the link in my description, you'll get 4 free stocks when you sign up and deposit $100. And the reason I like Webull so much better than other trading platforms like Robinhood is because you get a lot more in-depth tools at your disposal. And just like Robinhood, trading on Webull is completely free. You have options trading, day trading, swing trading, whatever you want to do, but you have a lot more tools at your disposal. But getting back to NIO, you can see they're right around that $47 area. And I have about the last month or so pulled up here. You can see this goes back to November 5th here. And each candlestick represents 10 minutes. So that kind of gives you an idea of how big this chart is. But looking back on about the 1 month chart, I have this horizontal line drawn here. And this is kind of where NIO is consolidating right now. And this is mostly due to this area being a support and resistance line in the past month or so. You can see there was support here, resistance, 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 support, support. So this has been an area where they've had multiple support and resistance changes, which makes it a relatively strong area for NIO to consolidate. Now, if we actually scroll out a little bit more here, we can see that there's also a pretty strong support line right around $40.50. Now, this hasn't really been resistance much in the past. It's been mostly support. And so if NIO does continue pulling back, they could continue pulling back all the way to this $40 area. Now, again, if they pull back to this area, that's not so bad because that's just another opportunity to add shares to your portfolio. I think there's a lot of investors who have been regretting not buying in at this $40 area here. And then NIO shot up all the way to $57 and they continued asking themselves if they wanted to invest at those high prices. But even at $47 right now, I think NIO is kind of a bargain. And especially if they can continue pulling back all the way to $40, that would be a pretty steep pullback all the way to $40. And that would probably be the biggest pullback we've seen from NIO. But I don't think it would be anything to worry about. That would be the time to add shares when NIO is cheaper. But transitioning over to the research side of NIO, now we're going to kind of go over why they're actually down today and some of the big news that came out for NIO. Now, the main reason that NIO is down is because there was a pretty broad market sell-off in the EV sector. Now, we saw a lot of EV stocks kind of have this sell-off today. But even with this broader market sell-off in the EV space, I think NIO is going to recover pretty nicely tomorrow and through the rest of the week because of the news that came out for them. Now, the biggest thing that came out for NIO was their deliveries that were actually reported for November. Now, if we actually step back and go back to October, you guys probably are familiar with October deliveries where NIO actually delivered over 5,000. And this is what that picture is representing. This was their October deliveries where they finally delivered over 5,000 vehicles in a month. And I believe they delivered 5,055 vehicles in October. But now fast forward to the present, and they delivered 5,291 vehicles in November. Now, obviously, this is very bullish news for NIO going forward because they've been setting these record deliveries month after month, and it really shows the demand for NIO vehicles. And even after a pretty impressive third quarter, NIO continues growing and they continue setting record deliveries. Now, the other huge thing that came out for NIO was Goldman Sachs analysts that actually upgraded NIO's price, and they actually upgraded NIO from a sell to a neutral rating. And this might not sound like a big deal, but Goldman Sachs has always been pretty bearish on NIO, and they've almost always had a sell rating. And they actually upgraded their price target to $59. Now again, we've seen this $50 to $60 price forecast from multiple analysts at this point, but to see this big of a price target from Goldman Sachs is pretty huge, because here it shows that their price was actually at $7.70. So to go from $7.70 up to $59 is a pretty huge increase, and to go from a sell to a neutral is also big for NIO. Now, on top of NIO's deliveries and this price increase, they also want to ramp up their production per month by the month of January. So this news did come out a few weeks ago where NIO mentioned that they want to increase capacity up to 7,500 vehicles per month. And originally they said that they wanted to do that by January, but it looks like they could potentially do that by the end of December. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean NIO will be producing 7,500 vehicles per month. This will just temporarily be their capacity. Now, obviously, they want to work up to that number and deliver that many vehicles, but in the beginning, that's just going to be their capacity, and that's what they could possibly deliver. But the reason why this is such big news for NIO is because they actually increased their production capacity from 4,000 to 5,000 back in September, and so now to see them go from 5,000 to 7,500 in a matter of a couple months, that's a 50% increase in capacity, and if they can actually hit those delivery numbers and work up to that 7,500 vehicle limit, that's when we're going to see huge delivery numbers for NIO next year. Now, there's also talk that NIO wants to deliver 150,000 vehicles in 2021. That was the original number NIO had mentioned that they wanted to deliver, but recently they decreased that goal down to 100,000 vehicles by the end of 2021, and that still isn't a bad number to hit. But I think if they can increase this capacity even past 7,500 within the first few months of 2021, we could see that 150,000 deliveries by the end of the year next year. And then hopefully by the end of 2022, we could see somewhere between 200 and 300,000 vehicle deliveries. But in this last paragraph, it mentions how the CEO, William Lee, mentioned during an earnings call last month that he hoped to have the increase in place by the end of January. And this is talking about the capacity of 7,500 vehicles per month. But NIO actually mentioned today that they're now aiming to have this production line and their suppliers up to that speed before the end of December. So I did already mention that they hope to increase by the end of December. And if they can do that, hopefully by early 2021, in the first few months, they can even increase capacity up to 10,000 vehicles per month. Now, in order for NIO to hit 150,000 deliveries in 2021, they would have to average 12,500 vehicle deliveries per month. So if they can start out early 2021 with 7,500 per month, and then hopefully work up to somewhere around 15,000 to 20,000 by the end of the year, we could see that 150,000 delivery mark hit. But again, going back to NIO's share price, even though they are down today, Again, this should just be a day to add more shares to your portfolio. I think too many investors see a red day and then they sell off on their shares thinking the share price is going to continue dropping, but that pretty much defeats the purpose of investing. The goal is to buy low and sell high. If you buy high and then you sell on red days, you're not making a profit, you're just losing money. So if anything, these are the days to add more shares, especially if you have a high share price and a high average price for your shares. You should just continue adding more to your portfolio on these red days. And if you guys have hesitated to buy into NIO and you're not sure when to buy in, set aside a certain amount of money every week or every month. And then with that set amount of money, buy as many shares as you can of NIO. And that's just called dollar cost averaging. You're getting the average share price of NIO over an extended period of time. So whether NIO continues going up or if they continue dropping, you're getting the average price. Now, for those of you who made it this far into the video, let me know how long you guys plan on holding your shares of NIO. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are day trading and swing trading NIO trying to secure quick gains, but I assume most of you guys are planning to hold for at least 5 years. So let me know how long you guys plan on holding NIO, whether that's only 1 year or 5 years, maybe even up to 20 years. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down in the comments. Lastly, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you guys sign up using the link in the description and you'll get 4 free stocks when you deposit $100. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.